Hi guys, welcome back to the Dragon discussion. Today we're here with Jason Wingrove and Clinton Harn, and we're talking Movcam today. We're talking about Movcam bits and pieces and how they're actually used in conjunction with other rig accessories.
Lots of bits and pieces.
Lots of bits and pieces. And today we're focusing a little bit more on RED cameras, specifically the Epic and the Scarlet. And really how these little accessories are helping in the field. So Jace, I think we'll start with you. You've got your little Epic kit here.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you just want to basically explain to us what you're using and how this helps you out in the field.
Well, this is, Movcam have really come to be my saviour, I think, because basically up until now I've been working with something I cobbled together by myself to be able to do this, and suddenly I think, you know, Movcam kind of looked into my brain and realised what was needed. So what I shoot a lot of handheld, but I want to be able to do a really quick transition from handheld to tripod if required, and I'm also a bit of a one-man crew, doing my own focus, you know, rolling my own camera, all that sort of stuff. So I think I wanted something really compact, light, that's easy to go from one thing to the other. And what I like to do is, I mean, we've got Epics because they are small, compact, light. What I don't like to do is then add like handles out here and weight up the back and have all the camera forward and add a whole bunch of weight up the back to try and balance it. I like to keep the way these things were intended, like an old 16mm camera, keep the weight as low as possible over your shoulder, centered on your shoulder, so you don't have to add extra weight to try and compensate it. So really, the way this is set up is really, it's sitting quite directly over my shoulder.
Yep.
It's quite balanced, you know, it's very, very natural. And I can roll the camera, and it's very, very low profile, and you can go to tripod pretty easily. Just talk amongst yourselves while I do this.
Okay. Yeah.
To be able to slide that off the bottom, the shoulder pad and the rosettes and everything, all of the handheld stuff goes away, and then you go straight with this very, very lightweight and low profile dovetail straight on the bottom.
So that can
like
save
that.
you a lot of time in field.
Yeah, and then straight onto the tripod, and you still got all the rest of your stuff connected. So, and yeah, and one of the things they've done and keep developing is a trigger handle which will roll and cut the Epic, which no one has done, including RED themselves. Every other camera manufacturer in the world, Arri, whatever, makes a hand grip that will roll and cut their own camera, but not RED. So thank you again for coming to our rescue there. On the top part here, what they've got is like a NATO rail on the top. This is all sort of available sort of separate. I guess you'll probably talk about later on how this can all be configured. But that's like a NATO rail on the top there. So you can position this here, lock it on quick and easy. And it's not going to slip, it's not going to slide, and it's certainly not going to come off. It all locks on very, very safely.
So that looks very much like the F55 setup as well, whereas you can slide that back and forth to get the center of...
Yes, if you want to get the center of gravity correctly. And also if you want that little bit of extra room to maneuver for your EVF. As I say, I use an EVF a lot. There's a separate plate here on the top here for if you want to use the 5-inch LCD. There's a lot of 1/4-20s and 3/16. What's the larger one? Out here on the front, 3/8. That bolts off. This bolts off. You can strip it way down if you want. The EVF mount is quite good and quite flexible. If you already have something from Wooden Camera, because this all mounts on here with 15mm, you can actually you can use the Wooden Camera EVF mount and not necessarily have to go to that degree. So pretty much everything here is Movcam. The bottom plate, which obviously goes with the dovetail, the top plate, rod mount on the back, top handle, LCD mount and EVF mount.
Now I guess just looking at this here, it looks like you've got the new fan upgrade.
Yes.
From RED.
Yes, this is the version 2 fan. I'm not sure if you can see that.
There, so
yes, and I don't think anybody really makes a little lightweight 15 rods at the front of the Epic. It's one of the bane of the Epic sort of and Scarlet is how close, because the body's quite tall, the 15mm rods for a lightweight to be at the correct height for lens have to be right in front of the body. So yes, I did need to get the file out quite badly to get the rods on there, but they're on there, and I'm sure I'm sure the guys at Movcam will look at that, and you know, that's one thing that they've been doing terrifically for us, is if we see a problem or if we have an idea or a suggestion, they're onto it. Yeah,
this is something we were speaking about the other day, in fact, how the guys over there at Movcam are so responsive, and they're listening to the end user, and as soon as you put something out there, they're already onto it, and they're putting it into practice.
And this is already, a lot of this stuff's already gone through multiple iterations before it's, you know, ready for sale, that it was already been out to us or other guys, and have given feedback, and they've changed it and adapted it quite quickly to get to this level.
Absolutely. Now, I'd like to speak to you, Mr. Harn, and see what's going on over here. Okay. So this is your little Scarlet setup that you've used on your recent feature. Yeah. Your setup looks slightly different to Jace's, and it looks like you've customised this for yourself with some other bits and pieces as well. So I guess the cool thing here is that you can probably show how the Movcam stuff can be used in conjunction with other brands and with other accessories?
Well, basically, I thought of this whole system sort of somewhat inspired by Jason's setup that he had there. Actually, one of his early incarnations of this handheld rig. Yeah, so I thought it makes sense, and you know, I'd like to reiterate what Jason says. You know, particularly with the Scarlets and the Epics, they're small. So I wanted to try and get this in a way which I can handhold it and operate it sort of fairly easily. Now the thing is, what I've got here is a couple of Zacuto handles and so on and so forth. I wanted to keep the camera as light as possible, so therefore I didn't put the top plate on here. But literally it's the same thing with the base plate as far as the Movcam Red Epic and Scarlet base plates are concerned, with the wooden handles, which I've been using also to start-stop trigger the camera itself.
So is that the same as this here?
Yeah, it's similar actually. This base plate here now we have is a slightly a newer version that we have, where it moves. It's like a dovetail system that has like a shoulder pad where you can move the whole camera back and forth. Yeah, we can definitely slide that off actually. There you go. Yeah. So just take the cable off. There you go. So it comes off. Okay. And what's really cool, so it's a longer version, and you can obviously put aftermarket base plates in here, and you click them in your tripod. But what I really liked about this system was that you can, like I said, essentially move the camera center of gravity back and forth a bit more. This new design allows me to actually even put, like I said, the V-Lock batteries back here, so it counterbalances your weight. Otherwise, I think that version there has sort of the shoulder pad just here underneath here, which means you have to actually move the camera quite far backwards. Yeah,
it depends on the ergonomics of your camera and how you got it laid out, or how much, because obviously the Epic and Scarlet are quite modular. Yeah. If you've got like a Pro IO on here, or the Red Volt XL, or if you've sort of, as you can, stacked out your camera a bit here, and you've got bulkier batteries, and if you want to get that weight forward, then that's definitely an alternative, and it's completely compatible with everything and all the dovetail plates.
So going back to this system again, I think that's part of the reason why we're doing this video as well, is because I had no idea that Movcam had this handle with the Naidoo system on there. So I had to kind of kit bash something, which is where I have used like a small little dovetail sort of a wooden camera sort of Naidoo base plate, which allows me to then put the LCD on here as well as the handle. So now with the fact that Movcam have actually got this system out, because I did speak to the guys about it over at Movcam, and they said, yeah, we actually have this version out, which will solve a lot of problems for me. So the way I've kit bashed it is a sort of, a poor man's version of a viewfinder here, where I have a small HD that's connected to this handle here, which means then I can also then quick release this entire system if I want to actually keep the Scarlet to a bare bones set up in case I want to put it on a Steadicam rig or something like that. So that's the whole point of actually setting it up like that. On the back here also so again, it will be really cool, when you have all your quarter, 20 and 3/8 tap holes, you can actually then start putting things like arms and so on and so forth. So on this system here, the way I've got this Scarlet set up is I've got an Atomos blade running here via the handle, which means I can record HD proxies out of this SDI for the director as well. Now, there's no reason why we can't do it on that system as well. So that's what I was essentially asking Movcam about, was to try and get this whole Naidoo system happening, which it seems that they've already done. Yeah. So
I guess the one thing I like about this is the fact that you've got the rail is actually sliding back and forth to get the center of you know, depending on what lenses you're using. You know,
Yeah,
might
you could.
be
There's nothing
front-heavy.
stopping you completely 180ing this, or you can take this. These sections are all removable if you just want the rod out the front or just up the back. It's all sort of fairly modular. I think you probably could even then take it off and stick these long rods out the side if you want to.
Well. Yep.
I mean, you know, that's a great system because when you think about it, I mean, what I've got here is, it's almost kind of convoluted because I wanted to have 2 extra holes here to hold the EVF as well as another extra hole here, 50mm rod to put, for example, a mic if I wanted to just reference or scratch audio. So now I'm looking at that and kind of going, oh, I can actually now incorporate that. And you see, what Jason's just done is taken the front section off the handle, which keeps it, again, even lighter and smaller as far as footprint is concerned. So, you know, I'm glad that he's actually shown me the system because, like I said, again, there's nothing on the Movcam.
Yeah, it looks like yes.
Yeah.
Fit on the side.
Well, there you go. You can fit that on the side again now, which is fantastic. So yeah, I'll be changing this whole top section soon with that whole entire system there. And this is great because, see, right now on this as well, I've had trouble trying to squeeze both the handle and the LCD on the same rail. Whereas now with that, you can actually put the LCD on there as well. But I think the whole point of, like Jason, you know, like I said, I was very inspired by his early incarnations of his setup, is to keep the camera as light, as compact as possible, and also to shoulder mount it. So this system is great as far as doing that. And you know, even, I mean, that might add a bit of bulk, but I find that with the blade, putting it slightly behind just where the V-lock is, does help me with the counterweight as well. It's still a compact setup, but if you look at Jason's setup, that's even smaller, even with the Anton bow on there. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I see there's a range of other little bits and pieces here that we've got laying out. Distribution boxes for Movcam. This particular box here, I think, Jace, is this the one that you use off the rods?
This is more if you're powering something like a DSLR, if you've got a really pimped up DSLR kit with monitors, recorders, EVFs, transmitters, transcoders. This is actually the Anton Bauer version, so you can put one battery on here. Obviously you can put 2 if you either want long run or if you want a hot swap. This will give 14 volts, 12 volts, 8.4 and 5 volts, and also got a couple of D-taps in it. And then obviously you choose, they have a range of external cables depending on, and these multiple, I think the inputs can, the outputs can give different voltage depending on how you buy the cable, and the cable, depending on how it's wired, will give you a different different voltage output. So yeah, if you want to run even the DSLR battery, you know, if you've got like a dummy battery cable, all that sort of stuff off here, and just put that up the back, and obviously give you the balance weight if you want to do that way, because a lot of things with DSLRs is there's no, you just don't have the ability to put even a battery on the back. You've got to, you know, this will get you nice and balanced on the shoulder.
And another one.
And I guess I presume, no doubt there's a V-lock version of that.
Yeah, absolutely, there's a V-lock. This one kind of interested me a bit more. Again, this part here, the lightweight rod clamp can actually be removed. So this is a...
Same with this actually, I think this is all of this is both removable if you want to.
I think the thing that interests me about this one, it can be removed. So you've got V-lock on this side to Bauer on the other side. I particularly like the V-lock to V-lock side, because what I think that could allow you to do, if you've got a Swittronics plate on the back or an Element Technica plate on the back, you can pop that in between the plates, and then you have all of those distribution outputs at your disposal.
I think Movcam, you know, what's really cool, I really love about the fact that they pay attention to these simple things, you know, like detail, whether it's the different types of cables that are available, distribution boxes. I think these things are really important when you're trying to customize your little rig. So the fact that there's, you know, they use that sort of, they're fairly, you know, take the initiative to actually do these sort of things, I find really cool.
This one's actually a bit more flexible in terms of the outputs. It's actually got 14.4, 2 12 volts, 8.4, 5 volt, a couple of D-taps again, and USB, and 12 volt DC in or out. I'm not sure actually what it'll do if you do 24. I'm trying to work out if you put 24 in here, will it step it down to 12, or I'm trying to work out what this input's doing. But at the moment you could assume that if you're powering this off, that you could power whatever this is docked into off a AC adapter, and charge your iPhone while you're
So you've got a V-lock version to Anton Bauer version on that.
Yes, this is Anton Bauer to V-lock. So, and then you can actually dock this into a V-lock. If you've got a V-lock battery shoe on the back of your camera, run it off Anton Bauer. Or of course they do V-lock to V-lock version of that.
Yeah, I like the idea of the 5-volt USB out because you know, with the Paralinks transmitters becoming more and more popular.
Yep. And there is also a Limo 5-volt out there. I'm sure you can get a cable knocked up for that if you want to.
From a Limo to a barrel,
go a bit more grown up. But yes, USB is there.
USB as well.
That's you charge your iPhone. Cool.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing is that all of this stuff is, in terms of price point, a little bit more affordable, or maybe a lot more affordable than a lot of the other brands out there. And I guess the one thing that is helping them along is the fact that they're so they have so much initiative, and they're listening to the customers, and you know, all of these little slight minor adjustments that we have suggestions for, they're actually listening and they're putting it in place.
And they're bringing stuff out and changing stuff weekly. This is new. This is the 1DC cage. Literally just got this last week. Beautiful. Very, very simple to take that on and off. It's literally one screw, and this knurled nut locks into the hot shoe on the top. Again, same deal with the, although slightly less adaptable here with the handle, but that's lockable NATO on rail on the top there. Plenty of 1/4-20s all the way down the side here. And it has a sort of a quick release. Again, adapts to the slide plate.
Yep. And these lightweight dovetails are awesome.
And that's similar to the bottom of the Epic. And I think what you can do is, where's the undo? There. Then the whole thing just slips off like that. So that will sit on your top of your slide plate like that. You'll just lock on, slide forward and lock. And then you're back on the tripod, or go minimal. So it's nice.
Very good. Great. I mean, I really have to say, I mean, even things like simple rosette spaces like that, that's pretty cool. What other accessories have we got?
There's a lot of that stuff. Because ergonomics is really personal stuff. Everybody wants something different. You know, handles out here, handles quite short, just one handle, two handles. So they have, you know, short, long, quite long rods for handles like this, short ones like that.
Just quickly also, I'd like to point out here, you know, for example, if you have something like this on your shoulder, you can actually offset this. You see these two screws here? You can actually now push these two handles more to your left, which is really cool. So just by loosening this section here, in fact, when I spoke to them, I said, oh, it'd be really nice where you just use one handle and get some sort of offset adapter where the handle is then slightly placed just underneath the camera here, which means then instead of having one hand here and having the camera droop over like this because of the weight, you can now offset that, have that handle closer in here, and then, for example, put your left hand on your barrel or follow focus. Yeah. So that's really nice to have as well.
And the other thing is, going to say, 1/4-20s everywhere you look. Yeah. Even on the hand grips on the side, all the way down here, even on the short versions, 1/4-20s there. There's handle spacers here. There's a spacer here between the rods and the handle. There's 1/4-20s and whatever that is, the larger one there as well. And even on the back of this shoulder pad there, there's 1/4-20s all on the back if you want to put rods, extra rods out the back. And I got to say something about the finish too, the fit and finish, the machining, and just the way this stuff works. It is just, it is outstanding. It's pretty faultless. Just, you know, anodizing, the way things fit beautifully. There's no forcing anything. Nothing's binding. Nothing's scraping. It's just the same with the dovetail plates. All of that stuff just fits in just beautifully. It's nice, just enough friction and nothing more or less. So yeah, and very strong build quality on all these rods and arms and things. Yeah, you really feel like when you lock that on, it's going to stay there.
One thing I will say about these little rosette extension arms, when you do put a handle directly on, what I would have liked to have seen, and this is something that I'll probably put forward to the guys, is that when you, for example, when you pop a handle directly on here, the rosette on the handle is actually flush, almost flush against the handle. So what happens is when you try and articulate the handle any which way, there's not enough room for your thumb to get in. Exactly. So what that forces you to do is put a rosette extension like this spacer in between there, just to get that. It would have been nice to see that actually built in to the handle or onto the extension arms.
Yeah, because it's a little extra added expense to give yourself a little bit more flexibility, but again, a lot of this stuff is fairly affordable. Yeah. But the handles are very nice, they're nice and ergonomic, work really well. Just a AAA battery in the bottom. And they're switchable, right, aren't they, between lank and red and other. So you just buy the right adapter cable to go with whatever your camera is. So you don't have to buy 3 different sets of handles.
So quickly, Jason, if you just hold that up again. That's sort of 2 versions here. You can see with the new, obviously the dovetail system base plate here, which moves the shoulder pad up. So it's like two versions of it, which is kind of cool. And that's really nice too with that long extension.
Yeah, it just depends what you're used to. I mean, I also quite like to not even have 2 handles and literally just put one right up here, like Arton style.
Exactly.
And yeah, obviously it's quite flexible. You can put that, literally do that right here. So it's good to have all these little Meccano bits. Big boy Meccano, really.
Sweet.
Absolutely, guys. Well, Jason, thanks for your time. Clinton, thanks. Guys, for any more information on this, please go to dragonimage.com.au. We have information about all of the Movcam gear available there. Thanks for tuning in.